Hello there, today we are going to be looking at the realm of information architecture, particularly in relation to records management and archiving. The 20th century saw a lot of change, particularly within the world of information management. With the digital revolution, there was a massive and exponential creation and use of that information. Today, information architecture is a professional practice and field of studies focused on solving the basic problems of accessing and using the vast amounts of information available today. In a rapidly evolving technological world where info is gathered in exponential amounts daily, organisation and retrieval of that information has never been more important. How do you make sure that people can find and retrieve information efficiently? Well, information architecture is a way in which to do this. In terms of the information architecture movement, the father of the movement is generally considered to be Richard Saul Wurman. Wurman is an architect and is often thought to be the person to coin the term information architecture. Despite today's usage being related to the design of information, the use of the term goes further back than Wurman's famous address at the American Institute of Architecture conference in 1976. Wurman looked at the organisation of information from a design perspective. Basically put, he used the visual to create a link to the abstract notion of intangible information. He believed that the structure and foundation of information was important to communicate the concepts. Initially at the AIA 1976 conference, he presented these ideas, which were not really taken up by his peers, but in the 1990s he published his work presenting his take on designers who presented information in a manner in which he approved of. Much of the design deliverables we associate with information architecture nowadays are a product of this period. Blueprints, information categories, guidelines on the underlying business processes, global corporate needs, they all make their way into information architecture later space from then on. They will be combined once and for all in the Information Architect's Toolkit by the movement of the late 1990s led by Rosenfeld and Morville. Rosenfeld and Morville looked at how information is categorized and structured on the internet. They focused on systems such as labeling, or how you represent information, navigation, how users browse information, and search systems, how users look for information. In order to create these systems of information, you need to understand the interdependent nature of users' content and context. Rosenfeld and Morville referred to this as the information ecology and visualized it as a Venn diagram. Information architecture and functional records management approaches are practically parallel. One real-world records management example is a study by Christopher Mill, co-authored by Broughton, who helped to redevelop the University of Dundee's intranet using a functional analysis methodology and looking at the retrieval of information. By this, Mill meant the organisation of information, that is, a record, that would be organised as to why it exists, that is its function, not its content, that is its subject. Mill found that approaching the information organisation was much more user-friendly when retrieving information, and that functional classification techniques played a valuable role in developing information retrieval solutions to a problem where the subject approach had failed to yield an acceptable solution. There are issues with information architecture. It overlaps with other disciplines. Even theorists often don't know the whole picture. This happened with Rosenfeld and Morville. They stated that once they had published their book, they should have consulted records management approaches. The information architect role is not always clear, and like Resmini and Rosati said, that the Enterprise Information Architect, which would be a records management site role, the other with the design of information for an individual website, portal, user experience or application user interface would tend to be more of an IT professional role. It is widely thought that the information architect role is misunderstood. The individual practitioner would need to be able to branch out into other disciplines and be a jack of all trades. The information used here is already dated and may be out of date considering the growth within the information market with data science, analysis and usage of ubiquity today. Is literature keeping up with the changing legalities, and is it adaptable within the information science world? The history of information architecture goes back a long way. With the advent of the digital revolution and the later mass use of the internet, user experience was essential for design of information arrangement. Within the record-keeping world, functional analysis parallels aspects of information architecture. And information architecture is often an overlooked aspect and is often incorporated into IT services. In an ever-expanding informational universe where today data collection occurs in massive quantities moment to moment, for users of that information to easily use within a legal and useful framework, it has never been more important to have an idea of how that information is organised. Thank you.